Right, in this video, I'm going to show you how I use the Kowalah platform built on the Claude Agent SDK to write content for our website. And in this scenario, I'm going to write a blog post. What you're looking at is a product called Kowalah Reserved. It is built on the Claude Agent SDK. On the left-hand side, you've got a series of files and directories that are on my local laptop. And on the right, we've got the chat instance. And Kowalah is loaded up with a load of skills. And so I'm just going to use our content writer skill to write a blog post about Claude Skills, which are super powerful. Hey, can we use our content writer skill? I want to write a blog post about Claude Skills and how impactful they can be for leaders of companies. So I'm using Whisper Flow to talk. I just don't type anything anymore because it's just a much faster way of communicating with AI. Here you can see that it's launching the content writer skill. This is a skill that I built, which helps me to write blog posts, LinkedIn posts, newsletters, and each one has got its own template. So perfect. Let's create a blog post about Claude Skills and their impact for business leaders. Let me start with a few questions to shape this. What sparked the idea? Was it a specific experience with a client, feedback you've received, or something you've noticed in how leaders are or aren't using AI? And who's the primary audience? What's one thing that readers should know after reading this? So in terms of what sparked this idea, because I'm now using skills just every day through either Claude Code or this Kowalah Reserved platform or in the Claude.ai interface, just everything that I'm doing is either using a skill or creating a skill to do the task that's in front of me. So whether it's something to do with fundraising or finance or hiring or planning an opportunity, I'm creating skills to document what I am doing. And that means that the next time I come along to that, it's super fast. But I recognize that the barrier to entry for anyone that's non-technical is super difficult to figure out, like what a skill is and how to create them. And so that's what we want to cover in this. The primary audience is a senior leader, so non-technical. It could be someone leadership or strategic role and is thinking, right, I really need to up level my thinking from just basic asking questions to gaining leverage through these tools. So it could be a VP of sales, could be a CEO, could be a CFO, anyone that's got process that they want to accelerate and automate. What's one thing that readers should walk away knowing? It's how to get started. The most simple way of doing that would be in the Claude.ai platform, where they can create their first skill using the skill creator skill that comes packaged with Claude. So you can see there why I talk. There is no way I'm typing all of that, but just talking to the model allows me to provide way more detail and nuance. Excellent. This is really clear. I can feel the shift you've experienced from asking Claude questions to building your own tools with Claude. A few clarifying follow-ups. On the barrier to entry, when you say it's super difficult for non-technical folks, what's the actual blocker? Is it not knowing skills exist at all, understanding the concept but not knowing where to start, thinking I need to code this myself? On the examples, you mentioned fundraising, finance, hiring, opportunity planning. Can you give me one specific example where a skill saved you time? Like I used to spend 2 hours doing X and then some stuff on getting started. So on the barrier to entry, for anyone that is non-technical or not a user of Claude, it's just not knowing that skills exist at all is one fact. But then thinking that that might be something that requires development experience or it's coding, when in fact it's just talking to Claude and explaining your process and what you want to happen and in what steps. So there's a lack of knowledge and then maybe a fear. Someone used the word intimidating yesterday, and I can totally get that. On the specific examples, so from a leadership perspective, I have a CEO strategy toolkit skill, And in that, I've got a number of sub references for updating my go-to-market, updating pricing, updating hiring, updating the forecast. And I've documented all of the things that I would go through in order to do those tasks. And that has saved me. Not only has it saved me a lot of time, it's given me a creative sparring partner to talk through these things based on the frameworks that I use. So it's not even about the saving time. I'm way more capable because of it. And on getting started, what they need to do is to make sure they've got a paid Claude license. So that could be Claude Pro, could be Claude Max, but more likely Pro. And then they need to enable capabilities or go to capabilities and enable skills in the settings page. And Claude provides them with some pre-built skills, one of which is the skill creator skill. And they can use that to create their first skill. It's very easy. Okay, perfect. This is gold. Thank you very much. I'm way more capable because of it, is the real story here. Two more things to nail the angle. The CEO strategy toolkit example. When you sit down to update your GTM strategy, what does that conversation with the skill actually look like? Does it ask you structured questions, pull in data? The aha moment, there's a moment where someone stops seeing Claude as a smart chatbot and starts seeing it as I can build my own tools. What do you think triggers that shift? And one quick confirmation, should this be a structured as a how-to guide? Okay. So for the CEO strategy toolkit example, because of the way that you create a skill, it's up to you to frame the concept. So when I built this skill, I was like, I want the CEO strategy toolkit to interview me and ask me questions. So it's not just about me saying, oh, update our pricing or update the go-to-market. I've framed it that I want it to challenge me. So let me ask you about that. And why are you thinking about this? If you're doing this, what aren't you doing? What is it that you actually want? It's like a coaching session. And then having done that, it then goes and updates the relevant document. So we're not looking for something sycophantic here. It's not like getting an executive assistant, do this, do that for me. It's more like getting someone to challenge us in our conversations. The aha moment, certainly for me, was that once you've built these skills around your specific context, your business, your way of working, the frameworks that you've read in books that you like, and you're having a conversation, and because Claude's able to navigate across all of your context, you're having a conversation about one thing, and it starts challenging you because we've agreed this other thing about the countries that we're not going to target or the hiring that we're not going to do. And it means that you don't get fixated on one specific talk track because it really understands your wider context. And that's why I end up talking to it like all the time, because it has that nuance. And then in terms of one quick confirmation, no, this is not a structured how-to guide. We'll create that separately. This is more of an insight and awareness, and we just want to inspire someone to say, right, over the next few weeks, I'm going to try and build my first skill. So while this is just carrying on, you can see this is my blog writing process. Yes, Claude is going to write the blog, and yes, it's writing the draft now, but it's not like AI has written the article. We've gone through a structured interview. I've talked about exactly what I want to cover in this blog post. So you can see now in the skill, it's gone to have a look at previous blog drafts that we've written. It's now reading my writing guidelines, which is my style guide and our tone of voice. It's now looking at the blog SEO guidelines, which are part of the skill. How do we write a blog post that is going to meet our SEO guidelines? And so it's all the work that happened previously when I built this skill means that when we use it, it's super fast. If I was going to try and write a blog post about Claude Skills, I'm going to have to carve out a couple of hours in my calendar. I'm going to have to plan it out. So let me just click yes here. This is the draft. And if I go over to go to market, marketing, blog drafts, And here we go, Claude Skills. This is our blog post. Done. I've drafted the blog post and saved it over here. What I built, the hook, challenges the executive assistant mental model right away. The opening line, you've been using AI wrong, grabs attention without being clickbait. Structure, it opens with the problem, shows the contrast between assistant and partner, explains the real power, dismantles the barriers. So these are all the things that we built into the skill to say, this is how I want a blog post to write. So the title, Stop Using AI Like an Assistant, Start Building Your Own Tools. Excerpt, Claude Skills, turn AI from a chatbot into a strategic partner that challenges your thinking and remembers your context. And so here's our blog post. You've been using AI wrong, not because you're asking bad questions, because you're treating Claude like an executive assistant when it could be your strategic sparring partner. The difference, skills. What most leaders miss about AI, from executive assistant to strategic partner. Okay, fantastic. Now, in the reality, I'm going to do a little bit of editing here, because this is what this is where the human element comes in, is to make sure that this is exactly what I want to say. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to say, okay, that is great. I would probably grab a couple of images, which I'm going to add in shortly. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, can you then create this in Sanity? Okay, great. That's perfect. Can you now push it to Sanity? Sanity is our CMS, and the skill has got a script that is going to push that into our CMS. Now, this is where, if you're non-technical, you might want a little bit of support. And so I'm just providing a password there, because it's going to use a token to push that into another system. Perfect. The blog post is now in Sanity as a draft. Okay, I'm now in my Sanity, which is our CMS. And I can go here, stop using AI like an assistant, start building your own tools. And this is our blog post. We could add in an image here. I can put it in the right category. And the blog post is ready to go with a little bit of minor tweaking. So that's just one example of how Claude Skills are able to take what would have been a very manual process, and through just voice, I'm able to talk about what I want, and it is going to create that blog post. And with 5 minutes of tweaking and adding in the right image, this blog post is going to be live. And I'll add the link to the published blog post to this video so you can see it. Claude Skills, use a bit of time over the next couple of weeks, figure them out, because I 100% guarantee that the leaders that figure out how to use Claude Skills for their own personal use and then how to scale that across their business are going to have huge leverage as they scale the business over the next year.